After the treasure hunt event ended on Nosta, you and Marius returned to the base camp to rest. You thought you finally get a good night's sleep, but you soon realized that sleep is a luxury in Nosta. Okay. Ah, I see.
朝から眠そうだね。昨夜ちゃんと眠れなかったのか?
Alright, did you hear something strange last night? Is she being paranoid?
いや、特には。俺は短時間で深い睡眠をとるタイプだから、寝てるときはだいたい何も聞こえてないよ。あんたの言う変な物音って、風の音とかじゃないの?
Wait, that doesn't make any sense to me. Hold on. I'm a heavy sleeper because I sleep less, so I don't... How are you a heavy sleeper because you sleep less? How do you wake up if you're a heavy sleeper? Huh? I thought so too, but I vaguely saw a figure hidden in the forest when I went to check it out. I couldn't make out who it was, and the figure ran away soon after being discovered.
そんなことがあったのか。でも、だとしたら不思議だな。
Yeah, I know. I know he does a lot. He doesn't have much of sleeping time, actually. Because his sleep hours are like, I don't know, 6 hours? 5 to 6 hours or something like that. It's like something really crazy like that. Marius is lost in thought.
端末が破損したトレジャーハンターなら、あんたを見て合流しようと考えるはずだ。けどその相手は逃げた。となると、あんたに見つかったら困るような何かしらの理由があったのかもな。あんたはここでじっとしてて、俺が見てくるから。
Oops. I had to blow my nose, so I didn't want the noise to hear that. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Yeah. He slowly walks forward, but before he can investigate the sound, someone charges out from the forest. Bam. 10 minutes later, Marius fixes his mustache, looking disgruntled at the frantically apologizing man seated before him. Is it Zanger? Or... Huh?
誰と誰が同じ家系だって？まあいい。とりあえず落ち着け。怯える必要はない。今は法治社会だからね。法に触れることはしない。
Thanks for the follow, Aileen.
ね、弁護士先生。
Yep, it was just an accident. Don't worry about it. Wait, but why did he charge out? That's my real question. Why did he decide to charge out of that bush? Hello. To calm down, you try your hardest to smile. Mr. Von Hagen. No, Mr. Oh god, this is gonna be really confusing. Oh god. Okay, Mr. Von Hallen? You said you were looking for someone and rushed here because you heard voices. Can you tell us who you were looking for? Is it someone who got lost? Wait. Von Hayden, Von Hagen, Von Halen, what the frick is this?
あんたら二人とも名字が泉なのか？それに名前もなかなか個性的だな。
How's it going, guys? Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? After hearing that name, the usually unfazed Marius incredulously expresses a rarely seen expression A befuddlement.
いえ、私は泉様と同じ泉だけど、ガヤは伊豆の意に住むって書いて泉なんです。私も以前はこんな名前が嫌でしたよ。けど、ガヤと出会ってからは、これも何かの縁なのかもと思えるようになりました。
確かにここまでの偶然となればご縁以外の何者でもな
I
い。
thought it was gonna be the guy who
お仲間さんとはい
what's
つ
it
は
called?
ぐれたんだ？
Zonger, who went missing. They didn't even resolve his story that much. Actually, we don't even know what the heck happened to him, unless I missed out on the details, because I might have missed out on the details on saying Zonger, Duart, I believe his name. I don't really remember his
昨
name.
日の夜だったと思います。
Oh yeah, after this I'll check out the banner, because I'm uncertain if I want to go for standard or permanent or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
はい。昨夜、私は夢の途中で目覚めまして、ぼんやりしていると、そこでガヤがいなくなっているのに気づきました。けどその時は、用を足しに行ったのかなくらいに思っていたので、
like
あまり深く
okay.
考えていませんでした。
Did he like okay, did Zonger like teleport to a different world like Genshin or something or Honkai? It's my question, honestly. Like seriously, I'm just wondering like what the heck happened to him? or is he still in this world, you know? Cuz there was a lot of breaking the fourth wall with him, you know.
けど朝になっても彼は戻ってこなくて、それで心配になって探しに出たんです。
You and Marius exchanged glances with each other. Last night, I saw a figure in the forest that could have been your friend, but I'm not sure.
本当ですか？ぜひ詳しくお聞かせください。
George couldn't hide his excitement and walks towards you before Marius stops him from behind, placing a hand on his shoulder.
あんた近づきすぎ。
Okay.
申し訳ございません。
I did not expect that much from him. I mean, I did not expect that those kinds of words from him actually. It just that caught me by surprise. I can't give you much information either. I only remember that he was prowling around the forest and fled as soon as I discovered him.
間違いない。それきっとガヤです。彼は一応私に宝を探しに行くというメモを残していました。なので、あ
Wait,
なたたちに見つかって逃げ出したのでしょう。
isn't like all the treasure like pretty much gone from this and some of this obviously was a contest game thing that was going on, so there's more treasure, I guess. Treasure. You and Marius have the same shocked look on your faces.
この島にまだ宝が残ってるのか？嘘じゃないんだろうな。
That's what I'm saying.
本当です。私とガヤはそれが目当てでこのノスタ島に来たんですから。でもここ数日お腹の調子が悪くて、だから私に無理をさせないようにガヤは一人で宝を探しに行ったんだと思います。宝なんてもうどうでもいいよ。ガヤさえ無事に戻ってきてくれれば。
George looks at the two of you with hopeful eyes.
宝の場所のヒントが書かれた布切れがあるんです。ガヤに持って行かれたけど内容は全部覚えてます。あなたたち宝探しに興味はありませんか？一緒にガヤを探すのを手伝ってくれたら全部お教えしますから。
Wait, why is Marius and the MC still around in this island? Marius looks at George with scrutiny before rejecting his offer with a shake of his head.
宝の存在を証明できるものが手元にないのに、その取引は割に合わないんじゃないか？
Wait, this is still the first part, isn't it?
それは
He thought Marius was going to reject him, but he suddenly smiles. You can see Marius's face light up with boyish excitement.
けどまあ、謎解きの宝探しね。
Okay, hold on. Oh, come on. I thought it was the clue to the treasure is short. The mountain god sees all, knows all. Mountain god? All of you split into two teams, hoping to increase your chances of finding John and the treasure, since none of you can guess the exact location where the clue was hinting at. Excuse me. Each of you brought along a flare gun, making it easier to notify the others and reconvene after finding John. The mountain god sees all, knows all. It's as if it's hinting at us to go visit the mountain god.
もし本当にそうなら少し厄介だな。山の神は見つけられなくても、万物を俯瞰できる場所なら知っている。
You mean the peak of the mountain? Marius nods as he pushes aside the tall grass. The road to the mountain peak has signs of someone passing through.
山頂に向かったのなら、泉ガヤはこの道を通った可能性が高いな。
He takes a few steps forwards to ensure it's safe before reaching out to you.
俺たちも山頂に登ってみよう。ほら、手を貸して。
Okay. You grab onto his hand, borrowing the strength of his arm to jump over the crooked tree trunk in front of you. Okay, this is a bit quite long. I didn't expect this to be quite long. You're quickly out of breath, but Marius seemed perfectly fine. Probably a result of his consistent exercise regimen. He really doesn't look like someone living the luxurious life. Whenever you're with Marius, he's always able to change your perception of him. Even just now. I saw you looking really doubtful about the treasure at first, so I thought you were going to reject his plea to find his friend.
あれね。思いっきりぶつかってきたのに、あからさまに俺たちを釣ろうとしてたから、ちょっと懲らしめただけだ。
He's being childish. That doesn't sound very grown up of you. That's what I said.
そんなことって、お姉さん、俺が痛い思いをしたのになんとも思わないの？そういえば、大して心配もしてなかったね。
Look at her face. She just can't handle his shit anymore.
まあ正直なところ、モブの言う宝が本当に存在するかどうかなんて、これっぽっちも興味がないんだ。知っての通り、パックスはそれなりの大企業だし、お金には困ってない。
What a show off. What a freaking show off. Look at
ただ、今回のイベントの主催側として、すべての参加者を守る責任が俺にはある。だから見て見ぬ。
He really is reliable when he gets serious. We have to find John as soon as possible before anything bad happens to him. After reaching the peak of a mountain, the exceedingly ordinary scenery that greets you leaves you and Mars confused. The mountain god sees all, knows all. Although the peak of a mountain is a place where you can see everything, neither of you had given any thought about what to do next.
山頂にいるかもって期待してたんだけどな。やっぱりもう少し具体的に彼の居場所を特定しないとダメか。
Yeah, we don't even know if he found it or if he already took the clue away. You feel as if your mind isn't working. Probably the result of not sleeping well last night. Marius seemingly detects your fatigue, bringing you under a tree.
山登りで結構体力削られただろう。少し休みなよ。
No, it'll be better if we search the surrounding area for clues first.
そういうのは俺に任せればいいんだって。
Excuse me.
だからあんたは安心して休んでなよ。
But
ずいぶんと食い下がるね。ここで休むのは嫌？
seeing his bright and overly joyous smile, you didn't dare to ask what he meant by sacrifice. You can only follow his advice and sit down, slowly leaning against the tree trunk. Alright then, I'll take a short break.
そうしてくれ。
But even still, your frayed nerves show no signs of tiredness or wanting to rest.
お姉さん。
Oh, oops. Let me try.
お姉さん、肩に力が入ってるよ。
Marius helplessly shakes his head and grabs a nearby leaf. He smiles at you as he puts it to his lips.
気をつけちゃダメじゃん。ほら、目を閉じて。
Huh? Okay. In the darkness, you hear the faint song of a leaf whistle. The unknown song sounds choppy, even to the point of being disorganized. The song echoes through the valley, enhancing its lethality and causing your eardrums to ache. That's not much of a rest, honestly. You can't help but open your eyes with the birds on the ancient tree up ahead scattering away. Marius looks at you awkwardly.
ごめん。なんか想像してたのと違ったみたい。
It's okay. I'm not sleepy anymore, so I guess it worked.
いやいや、そんなわけないでしょ。ちゃんと練習しとくから、また二人っきりになったら聞いてよね。
You sure are persistent.
おあいにくと、泉家の男はみんな諦めが悪いってのが性分なのさ。でも、あんたの言うことも一理あるか。
He looks at the birds circling above the old tree not too far away, furrowing his brows in thought.
どうやら、まぐれあたりだけど手がかりが見つかったみたいだね。
Hmm? You mean the birds that scattered away just now?
ああ、鳥の数もそうだが、こんなに多くの種類の鳥が同じ木に生息するなんて異常だ。鳥ってのは本来、とても縄張り意識の強い動物だからね。
Standing at the highest point and watching everything, this ancient tree is favored by all the animals. You mean the mountain god in the clue is referring to this ancient tree. Hearing your guess, Marius nods in agreement.
その推理、いい線いってるんじゃない？古樹の横は崖だった。つまり、少しでも音を出せば、すぐに谷でこだまして、両側からの音に驚いた鳥が飛び立つ。これが狙いだったとすれば、出題者はこの島の地理に相当詳しい人物なんだろうな。
You and Marius head over to the ancient tree and find something unusual in your search. There is a deep pit in the grass by the tree with all the grass in it seemingly squashed flat. It was made recently, most likely by John.
ああ、その可能性は高い。それにほら、あそこを見て。
You follow Marius' instruction and look up. You can see a strip of cloth high up in the tree. However, you can't really see what's written on it because it's too high up. That might be the clue to the next location.
とすれば、ガヤはそれを取ろうとして木に登り、その最中でうっかり落ちて草むらに跡を残したのかもね。とにかく登ってみよう。何が書いてあるか確認する必要がある。
Marius observes the tree and gives it a good pat, then starts climbing up. For someone who with Marius' physical prowess, climbing the tree is a walk in the park. Amazing. I bet even monkeys could learn a thing or two from him. Why are you making fun of him? You watch as Marius quickly reaches the cloth stuck high up on the tree. Seeing his expression, after reading it, you curiously tiptoe your feet and ask, "What's written on it?"
ヒントだよ。ちょっと理不尽だけどね。
Unfair? What's so unfair about the clue? Marius looks down at you from atop the tree and pauses for a second before he reaches down, offering you a hand.
ほら、あんたも登ってみる？俺が支えててあげるからさ。
The sun casts a hazy light on him through the shade of trees. You take his hand without hesitation. Sure. With Marius' help, you quickly climb up to where he is. Finally, you're able to see the clue that was written on the strip of cloth with your own eyes. Written on the cloth is, "Where the stars fall." Really? Okay, that's so vague. What? Where the stars fall. It really is quite the mystery's clue.
一個前のヒントを参考に考えるなら、霞もおそらく何らかの隠喩だろうな。そうなると、落とされるという言葉が謎を解く鍵になりそうだ。
You follow Marius' line of sight. The vantage point from the tree allows you and Marius to see everything this island has to offer, but be it the sky above or the mountain forest below. If it's somewhere where we can see it, see stars fall, then it must be even higher than our current location. And this happens to be the highest point of the cliff. Marius nods.
俺もそう思ったんだ。最初のヒントがここを示したのはおそらく偶然じゃない。となる次の場所はおそらくここから見えている可能性が高い。けど結構範囲も広いから座ってゆっくりと探そう。
Saying so, he sits down and helps you settle in next to him. The mountains and forests stretched as far as the eye can see. At night, you'll be able to see the night sky twinkling full of stars.
それにしても平然と木登りを承諾してくれるなんて、お姉さんって思ったより度胸あるんだ。
This is nothing. When I was young, I would always climb trees, and much higher than any of the boys. But as I got older, my parents told me to act more ladylike, so I stopped climbing trees.
宿女
Marius couldn't contain his laughter when he heard that.
そんなの他人が勝手に押し付けてきた理想像に過ぎなくないか
I guess so. You're not so bad at climbing trees either, which means you must have had a fair share of experience as a kid, right?
それはもちろん。俺はその昔、木登りの国家代表になるのが夢だったからね。
Kind of reminds me of like the villainous anime, I feel like. Sorta, except obviously the main character's not that gullible. Well, not gullible's not the word, I think. Okay, I guess I would say the main character is more studious. Let's go with that.
でも、俺もあんたと同じで、少し大きくなったらやらなくなったけどね。
Why? He looks down at the ground as he recalled his childhood. After a while, he sighed.
俺が木に登るとさ、使用人たちがやってくるんだよ。必死に頭を下げて、口を揃えて降りてくださいってね。俺が怪我をするのが心配なのは理解できる。でも、どうしても腑に落ちなかったんだ。彼らは一緒に登って見守ったり、登れる工夫をしてくれたわけでもないのに、どうして一方的に俺を降ろそうとするのか。
Marius.
でも今ならわかる。わざわざ怪我のリスクを背負ってまで、誰しもが木登りをしたいわけじゃないんだって。自分と気の合う相手を探すのって、案外難しいんだよな。
This conversation is a little too deep for
一
me.
生出会えない可能性だって。
I'm joking.
だからその時から俺は決めてた。もし見つけることができたら、絶対に手放さないって。
Wait, that's your only criteria? I know it's an otome game kind of thing, but it's I don't know, it's kind of weird. Marius' tone was suggestive, but tinted with faint hope. You're curious whether he has found someone like that. Yeah, I think so. You look away unexpectedly, meeting his gaze. You had casually thrown that question out, but you didn't actually know how to respond to him. After climbing down from the tree, Marius stretches and looks determined to find the treasure.
霞が落とされた地だけど、だいたい見当がついたよ。ついてきて。
Marius guides you down the mountain. As if to confirm his speculation, there are occasional indications that John might have taken the same path. You knew that the view would be amazing, but it still takes your breath away when you reach the destination. It's beautiful. Unexpectedly, there is a whole patch of pale pink flowers hidden in the lush green forest.
霞のメタファーを探り当てるのは 実はそこまで難しくなかったんだ。どれだけつかみどころのない謎とはいえ、この山にあるものといえば川、草木、樹木、それくらいだ。さっき山頂からこの花畑が見えてさ、花の名前を思い出してすぐに分かった。
Where the star falls. So the clue was referring to these flowers. Just as you're rejoicing over having solved the clue, Marius suddenly lets out a small laugh. You have a bad feeling about this.
この花畑ってピンク一色だから、山頂からなら結構目立って見えてたと思うんだけど。
I didn't notice it when we were sitting on the tree because I was focused on Marius.
お姉さん、木の上にいたとき、一体どんな考え事をしてたのかな？
Such a freaking tease. Before you can explain, Marius walks towards you, leans down slightly, and looks at you in the eye.
どんなも何もないよね。だって、あの時お姉さんが考えてたのは。
He's implying something, isn't he?
俺のことかな？
You take a step back to avoid his gaze, but he easily pulls you back by the wrist.
お姉さんってば動揺しすぎ。
Marius, is it really that much fun to tease me? Let go or I'll hit your hand.
お姉さん、なんか俺への当たり強くない？
He's trying to get your pity.
俺が可愛くなくても手がかりは可愛いでしょ？あと、手を引いたのは後ろにある手がかりを踏ませないためだよ。
After letting go of you, Marius bends down to look at the patch of flowers behind you. You lean over to find that someone has stepped on the patch of flowers, leaving slightly bent plants in its wake. There are many faint footprints in the loose dirt around it. There really is a clue.
大きさから見て、これは成人男性の足跡に違いない。にしても、花畑の至るところにあるな。これらの足跡を残した人物は何かを探していた可能性が高そうだな。
You and Marius split up to search the area around the patch of flowers for more clues. The beautiful fallen stars are in front of you, but you don't see any indication of a clue, dazzling as they are. 10 minutes go by and you still don't find anything. I wonder if Marius found anything on his end. Glancing around, you see that Marius had his head down, rummaging around for something. Soon enough, he beckons you over, seemingly having found something. Already? You rush over to him and are surprised to find a hidden wooden chest in the grass. Unfortunately, the chest has been opened. It's empty inside. Huge wooden chest seems a little overkill for just putting in a piece of cloth with a clue. Unless the treasure was also hidden inside. Marius inspects the wooden chest before shaking his head.
それはないかな。この木箱は新しすぎる。それに材質も安っぽい。いかにもそこら辺で売ってそうだ。今から1000年くらい先の時代だったら、かろうじて骨董品としてそれなりの価値がつくだろうけど、今は、どんな宝の入れ物にしても品がなさすぎ。絶対にないね。
Wait, if it's new, that means the treasure to the clue, I guess, is not going to be new or something. It's going to be new, I mean. That's weird, you know? That makes sense. No, wait. There's a problem. A mystery that was overlooked suddenly pops into your mind. That means the cloth up in the tree which led us here was also put there recently, just like this wooden chest here. But what's stranger is that George said that they come here in search of treasure. Sorry. Let me try it again. But what's stranger is that George said that they come here in search of treasure. The timelines don't seem to add up. Noticed as a deserted island, only the people and the only people who have been here recently were the employees that came to prepare for the event. If these clues were left behind by Nosta ancestors, then the piece of cloth with the clue and the wooden chest wouldn't be this new. That means the clue were put here only recently, maybe even after we came to Nosta. If that's the case, then you can only think of one possible explanation. Was George lying to us?
そうなるね。でもモブの話、あながち全部が嘘でもないと思うよ。彼が人探しを手伝ってほしいというのも、宝の存在の話もおそらく本当だ。ただ、
But what?
彼は宝について俺たちに隠してることがある。
So you already suspected him from the start.
まあね。でも言っただろ。俺は宝の真偽はどうでもいいって。だから別に聞き出そうとも思わなかった。たまたま今の発見で俺の推測が正しかったって証明されただけ。
That certainly fits your personality of treating money as if it's nothing.
それ褒め言葉として受け取っておくよ。
I don't think you should take it as a compliment, but okay. You sigh, no matter what the case. You've already lost the next clue based on the current situation. As you're a little discouraged, you feel something light plop on your head. Huh? You touch it. It's a wreath.
さっきさ、手がかりを探しながら作ってたんだ。思った通りだ。ピンクはあんたによく似合ってる。
He's just playing around. Marius is gifted with the ability to put people at ease. Just a simple set gesture erases most of your anxiety. Marius, you... Before you can say anything else, Marius changes the topic.
まあ、とにかく安心しなよ。ガヤのやつはそう遠くへは行ってないはずだ。
He's blushing.
ほら、足跡をよく観察してみて。片方が深く、片方が浅くなってるだろ。木から落ちた時、足を痛めた証拠だ。
How does he know that? Without being like a doctor. Or a forensic, investigator, I guess. Not giving up on the treasure even after being injured. He sure is determined.
彼をそこまで突き動かしているのは金か、それとも他の何かなのか。
You and Marius follow the footprints and continue your investigation. You inspect the wreath as you walk, admiring its handicraft. Marius, your handiwork is amazing. The weaving of this wreath is both beautiful and durable.
だろ？俺が何十回も試行錯誤を経て、やっとたどり着いた編み方なんだよ。
Many times? You made a lot of wreaths in the past? I don't think I've heard of guys making wreaths or flowers like, you know, like this. Which is kind of interesting, you know? Your question causes Marius to pause briefly before giving you his iconic smile.
そう。前に留学してた時、
Rella?
レイラによく花畑の散策に付き合ってもらってた時期があって。その時、毎回お礼として花冠を編んで送ってたんだ。そしたらすっかり板についちゃって。
Rella? That sounds like a girl's name. For some reason you feel an ache in your heart. You couldn't quite put your finger on it. Oh, okay.
ああ、その顔ってさ、もしかしてレイラが誰か気になってたりする？
He's teasing again, isn't he? Marius looks at you with interest, as if he is highly expectant of your reply. Let's see. Do I really curious or don't care? Personally, I'd probably be curious. Yeah, that's a cute name. Is it a girl?
気になるのそこだけ？お姉さん、せめてちょっとくらい焼きもち焼いてくれてもよくない？
Oh, I see. Jealous? Why would I be jealous? A hint of sadness flashed through the depths of Marius' eyes when he hears your reply. However, he soon returns to his normal joyous self, in no time at all.
確かにそんな決まりはないけどさ。けど俺だったら、お姉さんが他の男のことばっか話してたらすっごく複雑だし、嫉妬するだろうな。なんて。
Before you can reply, he continues with the story in a serious manner.
さっきの話の続きだけど、レイラはさ、俺が外で拾った野良犬のことなんだ。
A stray dog? I never heard you mention it before. Unless... Noticing your hesitance, Marius can't help but laugh.
誤解しないで。レイラはまだ生きてるよ。なんならすっごく元気だ。ただあの頃はよく周りからいじめられてたから、仕方なく俺が海外の友達のところに預けたんだ。今も向こうにいるよ。
Bullied?
ああ、当時も俺を恨んでる人間は多くてね。直接手が出せないからって奴らは恥ずかしげもなくレイラを狙ったんだ。庭のフェンス越しに石を投げたり、散歩道に毒入りの食べ物を置いたり、次から次へと対処のしようがなかった。
What frick? Fucking messed up. What the hell? They only know how to bully the innocent. How despicable.
そいつらには後に相応の罰を受けてもらったけど、俺が飼い主である以上、今後も同じことが起こらないとは限らない。だからレイラの安全を第一に考えて、俺は彼女を泉家から送り出すことにしたんだ。
I see. Marius sighs. There was no sign of anger on his face, only a hint of remorse.
でも、もしあの時にもう一度戻ることができたなら、俺は絶対にレイラを送り出さないと思う。
Why?
後になって気づいたんだ。俺が強くなりさえすれば、自分のそばを一番安全な場所にできたんじゃないかって。だから、今度こそ同じ過ちは繰り返さない。
He looks at you, a burning gleam of determination flashing past his eyes. You don't know how to respond except to nod your head. Marius laughs wholeheartedly in response.
そうだ、その花冠はもう捨ててもいいよ。今度また新しいのを作ってあげるから。
Toss it? It's so pretty though. It'll be such a waste.
だってさ、よく考えたら霞草って脇役に徹することが多いし、花言葉もちょっと気に入らないんだ。
Oh.
あんたに送るなら、やっぱりスミレか麦わら菊の花冠の方が似合うと思うんだ。
Is it unlucky? I remember the flower language of the star flower is, I will always support you with my love.
ねえお姉さん、俺の言ってることの意味、もう分かってるんでしょ？
I don't know what you mean. Unconsciously, you look away, feeling guilty for no reason, just as the atmosphere was getting flirtatious. Suddenly, a few scraps of clothing on the ground catches your attention. Marius, look. This might have been left behind by John.
うん、そうだね。どうやらそう遠くない場所にはいるみたいだ。
Oh, his mood is broken. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like the fact that, you know, there was something distracting the main character. Not far from where you found the scraps of clothing, you find John collapsed on the ground.
ダメだよお姉さん、裸なんて。俺はそんな軽い男じゃないんだ。
Huh?
待って、やめてくれ。君の髪が首に絡まって息ができない。
What? Marius, is he okay? You stood by him watching the entire thing play out. unsure of how to react.
大丈夫じゃないどころか問題大ありだろ
A psychological problem? Yeah, probably. Being called Miss by John, Marius struggles to remain Marius struggles to remain keep. No wonder. They forgot something. Keeping a straight face. God. Marius searches John for the clue. Finding it, Marius releases John's collar, laying him back on the ground again. There's a lot of mistakes here. What's wrong with him? Is he hallucinating?
おそらく島特有の果実でも食べたんだろう。一部だけど軽い幻覚作用のある果実も生息してるって聞いてる。
There's a fruit like that?
本来なら参加者の手の届く場所にはない果実だよ。そんな代物を彼がなぜ食べたのか、よくわかったよ。
Marius hands you the piece of cloth with the clue on it that he had found. In the crack between reality and illusions, don't repeat the mistakes of Orpheus. In the crack between reality and illusion. The first half of the clue seems to explain what's happening with John. Could this be part of the solution to this clue? If that's the case, then it's likely that this fruit was found inside the wooden chest along with the clue.
だろうな。でもまあ、ひとまず人探しは終了したし、依頼人をここに呼び出して事情を聞いてみるとするか。
Alright, let's question the hallucinating client. Or is that the person we are questioning? After saying that, oh wait, the other guy. After saying that, Marius fires a signal flare into the sky. George wasn't far from you two at all. He arrives at your location not 30 minutes later.
勘違いするなよ。幻覚で間違って自分の舌を噛まないよう口を塞いでおいただけだ。心配いらない。
ああ、そうでしたか。お手数をおかけしました。ガヤを見つけてくれて本当にありがとうございます。
礼はいい。それよりも見つけてやったんだ。そろそろ本当のことを教えてくれるんだろうな。曖昧な宝の存在に手の込んだ謎解き。これらはすべてあんたが設置したものなんだろう。
Taken back by Marius' sudden question, George seems to be at a loss for words, stuttering as he speaks.
泉様、何をおっしゃって。
At that moment, Marius chuckles and slowly closes in on him.
さっき花畑で手がかりを探してた時、俺は2組の足跡を見つけた。1組の足跡は片方が深く、片方が浅くなってた。それは足を怪我したお仲間さんのものだろう。対してもう1組の方はってもう言わなくても分かってるよな。
Footprints? It must have been then.
大きさから見てこれは成人男性の足跡に違いない。にしても花畑の至るところにあるな。これらの足跡を残した人物は何かを探していた可能性が高そうだな。まあとにかく安心しなよ。ガヤのやつはそう遠くへは行ってないはずだ。ほら、足跡をよく観察してみて。片方が深く、片方が浅くなってるだろ。木から落ちた時、足を痛めた証拠だ。
Right, since John injured himself, the normal footprints couldn't have been made by him. I was so fixated on finding him that I missed such an important detail.
いや、でも足跡の深さが同じってだけじゃ僕のものだとは断定できないじゃないですか。
George was clearly scared, but he seems a little hopeful to prove his innocence.
できるさ。ヒントが示す場所を崖だの花畑だのにするくらいだから、仕掛け人は明らかに島の環境をよく知った人物だ。今回のイベントを主催する前に、俺はこの島のことを徹底的に調査させたことがある。あんたは昔、この島で考古学研究に携わってたチームの一員だろう。 残っていた集合写真にあんたの顔が写ってたよ。
それは。
You remember seeing relevant archaeological news in the recent 2 years. You never thought that George would actually be part of it. Besides, the clues were new enough to indicate that the person behind it had to be one of the people among the group who traveled here. There was no way George could explain himself out of this one.
申し訳ありません。確かに泉様のおっしゃる通り、宝のヒントを設置したのは僕でした。でも、モブの名に誓って騙そうだなんてつもりは一切ございません。
そう慌てるな。まずは事の顛末を聞かせろ。あんたの言い分を信じるかどうかはその後だ。
George nods furiously, swallowing nervously before explaining.
それらを設置したのは確かに僕ですが、ヒントに記したどの場所を探してもガヤの姿が見つからなくて、焦って途方に暮れていたさなか、あなたたちに出会って、それで藁にもすがる気持ちで助けを求めたんです。
Your friend was injured with his ankle. You mean your friend has injured his ankle on the cliff, making it hard for him to continue searching for the treasure. I'm guessing that he stopped somewhere to rest, which is why you missed him.
なんてことだ。今回の宝探しを考えたのはガヤを喜ばせるためだったというのに、まさか怪我をしてまで宝を見つけようとしていたとは全くの想定外だ。
Marius sighs after hearing his explanation.
そういうことなら最初から俺たちにはっきりとそう言えばよかったんじゃないか。
今この島に来てる人間は皆金儲けのことばかり口にしますから、見返りがないとお受けしてくれないかと。特に泉様はネット記事では女と金にしか目がない御曹司って言われてて、私は女じゃないし金で釣るしか。
What? That's ridiculous.
はっきり言えとは言ったが、それにしたってズバズバ言い過ぎだろう。加減とか気遣いを知らないのか。
You struggle to contain your laughter as you pat Marius on the back to comfort him. You turn back to George. Since you set up the clues, what's the treasure?
いえ、それが宝に関しては私も何とも言えなくて。というのも泉様も小耳に挟んだことがあると思います。当時の考古チームがこの島に来た最大の目的を。
ああ、風の噂程度だけどな。確かこの島のどこかに古代の遺跡があって、あんたたちはその場所を探してたんだろう。だけどあんたの考古チームがどれだけ探し回っても結局は何も見つからなかった。
George nods, a helpless look on his face.
その通りです。それで島から帰ってきた後、私は研究室で古書を調べ尽くし、ようやく糸口をつかんで帰ってきました。断片的ですが、とある儀式の段取りが記録に残ってて、それを順番に行うことで神おろしの遺跡が見つかるようです。
Miracles, ruins. You are momentarily taken by surprise with the unfamiliar terms. George, realizing how ridiculous he sounds, scratches his head in embarrassment halfway through his words. But Marius shows no signs of impatience at all. Instead, he was seemingly encouraging him to finish.
つまりあんたは段取り通りにヒントを設置したんだな。なら宝ってのはその遺跡のことなのか？
それは少し違います。ガヤと違って私はこういう科学的根拠のないことはあまり信じない性分でして、だからガヤを失望させないためにこの先にそれなりに価値のあるものを埋めたんですが、一般人からすればなかなかの代物だけど、泉様がお相手となると。
ん？それはどういう意味だ？俺も一般人だぞ。
Are you really? You and George both lapse into silence at his words. The only commoner in the group breaks the silence. So, what's the treasure?
高級腕時計ブランドの今シーズンの最新作です。誕生日プレゼントのつもりで用意したのですが。
Ah. Sounds expensive.
はい。パックス傘下のブランドですから。
Look at her face. I can't with her face sometimes. After the truth came to light, George takes John, who has almost completely regained consciousness, back to camp to recuperate. You and Marius decide to retrieve the expensive watch that was buried not too far away from them. However, Marius wants to follow the clues instead of letting George tell him exactly where it is. You take this opportunity while you were both alone to ask him something that had been bugging you. Marius, you already knew that there was something suspicious about the treasure hunt, so why didn't you tell me sooner?
お姉さんって結構心配性なところあるでしょ。最初に教えちゃったらいろいろと考え込んじゃうかと思ってさ。誰かの思惑とか余計な駆け引きとかそんなことにとらわれず、あんたには純粋に謎解きを楽しんでほしかったんだ。
Researching everything beforehand, caring about the safety of the participants, considering your feelings. He used to bearing... Oh my gosh, more mistakes again. He used to be bearing all the responsibility. But he's the one who truly wants to enjoy the treasure hunt he has set on, more so than anyone else. Marius, Before you can finish, he takes out the final clue and smiles in a childlike manner.
そういえばさ、最後のこの謎をよく見てみなよ。結構面白いんだよ。
You know that he's just changing the topic on purpose. But looking at the smile on his face, you feel that what he needed most at this moment for someone to understand him. In the crack between real and imaginary, don't repeat the mistakes of Orpheus. Orpheus, is it the person who went to Hades to save the soul of his dead wife in Greek mythology?
だいたい合ってるよ。それから冥界の王はオルペウスに妻の返還を承諾する代わりにある条件をつけたんだ。冥界にいる間は決して後ろを振り返ってはいけないと。けれど結局オルペウスは失敗し、妻を永遠に失ってしまった。
So, don't repeat the mistakes of Orpheus. Probably means to not look back. No wonder George said that the treasure was buried just ahead of us.
それだけじゃない。オルペウスの話でわかることはもう一つある。もし道中で俺たちのどちらかが幻覚に陥ったとしても。
Marius stares at you while speaking seriously and affectionately.
不安に負けずに、ただ目の前にいる人のことを最後まで信じろと。孤児の上にいた時の記憶だけど、おおよその方向はまだ覚えてる。振り返らないってのが謎の答えなら、このまま南に進んでみよ
う。After walking for about 10 minutes, you and Marius are blocked by a steep wall. The only possible way forward is a cave. None of you know where it leads to.
洞窟か?
It looks ominous, similar to the one in the legends. There doesn't seem to be anywhere else we can go. Why don't we take a look? Maybe he hid it inside it.
そうだな。わかった。けど、ちょっと待ってて。簡単な松明を作るから。
Marius? Since entering the cave, an odd look occasionally flickers across Marius' face, accompanied by the damp chill. But it's only momentarily, which made you think that you were only seeing things.
あ、ごめん。気になるものを見つけちゃってさ。ちょっとだけよそ見してた。
Something special?
そう。 ここの岸壁を見てごらん。
The corners of the cave were strewn with scattered rubble. The path inside was rugged and hard to walk. In the faint light of the torch, you follow Marius over to the stone wall and look up. There are vivid murals engraved into the ancient rock that withstood years of precipitation. Although the original color has already faded with time, it does not detract from how grand the murals are. It clearly depicts a distant time from the past, but there was also an inexplicable familiarity about it. The events depicted in the mural strangely matches what you and Marius experienced today. Playing music at the edge of the cliff, exchanging gifts in the flower field.
これが古書に書かれていた儀式の段取りのことだろう。
Marius stares reverently at the priceless artwork in front of him.
二人は最後に果実を食べたが、幻覚に惑わされることもなく、本心を伝え合った。結果、
I didn't expect the runes to really exist. It's a shame we missed the last step, or we might have received the mountain god's blessing too. As if tempted by the ancient ritual, Marius smiles. His voice echoes through the quiet, deep cave, and there was a sense of solemnness that was consistent with the mural.
祝福だけじゃないさ。神はきっと二人の結末も見届けてくれてると思うよ。それに、儀式はそれで終わりでもないと思う。ほら、壁画の最後に見て、
I'm a bit tired.
特別な記号があるでしょ。
Ah, you're right. It looks like an arrow.
俺の予想が正しければ、ここのどこかにまだ道が続いているはずだ。
Following the direction of the arrow, you and Marius slowly head to the corner of the mural. You look around for any signs of secret passageways. It was nothing but a dead end. But Marius suddenly slips down and disappears a few steps in, seemingly having stepped onto nothing but air. Marius! Uh-oh. I'm not very good at acting, by the way. I'm not. After Marius disappeared, you head over to where he had been, only to discover an inconspicuous opening in the cave. The torch that had fallen on the ground was completely extinguished. You could see nothing but darkness. Marius, are you okay? You strain your voice and yell for Marius. Echoes reverberated through the cave, adding a sense of terror to its original gloominess. Then, as if to calm you down, you hear Marius' voice coming from the opening.
俺なら大丈夫だから心配しないで。それよりその穴にはあんま近寄るなよ。俺みたいになるから。
Okay. Can you climb back up? Marius pauses, as if he was surveying his...
それは少し難しいかな。ここの岸壁かなり滑るみたいだし。でも安心して、下に通風口がある。せせらぎの音も聞こえるから外に通じてるはずだ。儀式を執り行う場所なら絶対に出口もどこかに用意してあるよ。だから安心して。
He reassures you to no end, but you can hear a hint of suppressed panic in his voice. It's as if he's pretending to be calm. But are you really not scared? The question was on the tip of your tongue, but you bite it back. Rather than asking useless questions, you would rather do something about it. Wait for me. I'll be right back. Afterwards, you head back to the entrance of the cave. 10 minutes later, you return to the opening. Marius, if you're still there, move out of the way.
待て、何をするつもり?
You don't give Marius any time to finish his question before you jump straight into the opening. Huh? The opening wasn't steep, but there was a brief moment of weightlessness as you fell. You had braced yourself to land onto the ground, but to your surprise, you are greeted by a warm embrace.
おっと。大丈夫？どこか。
No, sorry. He breathes a sigh of relief, puts you down. With the tools you brought down, you reignited the torch and find that Marius looks looking paler than usual.
どうして降りてきたんだ？言っとくけど、うっかり滑ったなんて言い訳は通用しないからな。
So that I can find the exit with you, of course.
俺のそばに？
Yeah, don't worry. I fired a signal flare just now. I also left some of our belongings in the front of the cave. If we don't return by nightfall, I'm sure they will send a rescue team to the cave in search of us. The usually articulate Marius falls into a rare and brief moment of silence, only to speak again after a few seconds.
そんなことのためにこんな危険を冒したのか？いくらなんでも無謀すぎ。
I wouldn't listen anyways. Marius, remember what you said to me before?
後になって気づいたんだ。俺が強くなりさえすれば、自分のそばを一番安全な場所にできたんじゃないかって。だから、今度こそ同じ過ちは繰り返さない。
Since you said that, choosing to stay by you is the right choice compared to heading back to base alone, no?
それとこれとは明らかに状況が違うだろ。
In the silent darkness, you hear him let out a sigh, as if he decided to compromise.
けど、間違ってることだとは思うけど、あんたが来てくれて、確かにすごく嬉しかった。
Yeah? After reuniting with him, you and Marius feel along the wall, slowly heading deeper into the cave with it as a guide. As you walk, you vaguely hear Marius's rapid and irregular breathing. Marius, I've been wanting to ask you for a while now, but are you not feeling well?
いや、平気だよ。ただ、ここの湿度が高くて、ちょっと息が詰まってるだけ。少し休めば治るよ。
He's making excuses. Stuffy? You can clearly feel a breeze coming from somewhere. More chilly here, but the airflow is better. Regardless, it's definitely not stuffy. Could it be... Are you sick? You're not sneezing or coughing. Is it a fever?
普段から鍛錬してる俺がそう簡単に体調を崩すわけな
That
いで
doesn't
しょ。
mean anything.
お姉さん、俺の言うことが信じられないの？
Drunk people will never admit that they're drunk. Come here, let me have a look at you. In the darkness, you tug on his jacket. Lower. Marius had originally been leaning on the wall. Perhaps it was too unexpected, or maybe because he wasn't feeling well, but he didn't have time to react quickly enough. He falls into a sitting position as you pull at him.
急にどうした？
Not only do you see shock written all over his face, but there is also a hint of bewilderment, a stark contrast from his usual free and easy self. But you don't care about any of that right now. Stay still. Parting his hair, you lowered your forehead to feel his temperature. Marius doesn't say anything. There is only the sound of your intertwined breathing. It doesn't seem like you have a fever. Rather, cold.
俺よりお姉さんの方が暖かいね。心地いいくらいだ。
His voice has an unusual huskiness to it. It wasn't the usual playfulness you do, but something else. Huh. Opening your eyes, you see Marius staring right at you. Appearing from nowhere, countless fireflies fill the air, encircling you, weaving and dancing. The small fluorescent sprinkles fall into the depths of his eyes, blooming a strange brilliance.
ちょっと、まだ動かないでよ。
Huh?
今度は俺の番なんだから。お願い。
Oh.
もう少しだけでいいからこのままでいさせて。
You are momentarily stunned by his rare display of childish behavior. Will you feel better if I don't move?
すごく。
This time, Marius moves closer to you. His soft hair brushes across your cheek, accompanied by the warmth of his body, teasingly enchanting. Too close, Marius. After hearing that, Marius has absolutely no intention of moving away. Instead, he flashes you a small smile.
何をそんなに慌ててるのさ。さっきお姉さんから俺に近づいた時は全然平気そうにしてたじゃん。
That's because I was worried you had a fever.
分かってる。心配してくれてたんでしょ。ごめんね。さっき言ったことは真実じゃないんだ。
He closes his eyes and lets out a sigh, as if he's finally chosen to let down his guard.
小さい頃さ、俺はガキのいたずらで似たようなところに閉じ込められたことがあるんだ。
Oh.
暗くて湿っぽくてすごく居心地の悪い場所だった。だから言うなればトラウマみたいなもんだね。別に大したことでもないから。
Is it really no big deal though? I mean, trauma is something you take seriously. No big deal. You put your arms around Marius, slowly stroking his back. Oh my. Can you say it's no big deal? You were trembling just now.
気づいてたのか。
His breath on your ear was ticklish and hot.
これは降参だね。でも嘘でもないよ。俺にとってそのことは本当にもう大したことじゃなくなった。
Is it because you're with Rosa right now?
確かに例の記憶は最悪だったけど、おかげでこんな特別な思い出ができたんだから、すごく得した気分さ。だからさ、俺のそばにいてくれて本当にありがとね、お姉さん。
Marius hugs you back. All the trembling and uneasiness gradually disappears. After a short rest, Marius' condition considerably recovers. But for some reason, there are more and more fireflies in the air as you approach the deepest part of the cave. They flew in the same direction, lighting up the formerly dark passageway. Somehow it feels like the fireflies are guiding us.
ホタルが神の使い？へへ、なかなかロマンチックだね。よし、ならお姉さんの言う通り、その導きとやらに従ってみますか。
Marius stands up, preparing to head deeper into the cave. But through the blue fluorescence, you can detect in his tone that he's still pretending to be okay by masking it with indifference. He's probably not fully recovered yet. Wait! You grab his hand without a second thought. You can hold onto my hand if you're still feeling uneasy. In case you get distracted and fall into another opening. After a brief pause, Marius takes the initiative and interlaces his fingers with yours.
うん、確かにその方が絶対にいいね。それじゃよろしく、お姉さん。途中で話したりしないでよ。
The way he says Onesan. Come on, bye. Okay, hand in hand, he leads you deeper into the cave. Watching his back, your mind goes back to the clue, to that legend. Orpheus. Is it the person who went to Hades to save the soul of his dead wife in Greek mythology?
大体合ってるよ。それから冥界の王はオルペウスに妻の返還を承諾する代わりにある条件をつけたんだ。冥界にいる間は決して後ろを振り返ってはいけないと。けれど結局オルペウスは失敗し、 妻を永遠に失ってしまった。
The current situation is exactly like the legend. I wonder if something bad will happen if Marius suddenly turns around. No, that's just a legend. Nothing will happen. You shake your head to get rid of these ridiculous thoughts. Even so, Marius suddenly turns around, which startles you because you were completely unprepared.
さっきからずっと何かボソボソ言ってるけど、どうしたの？
Looking into your terrified eyes, he touches his face, looking rather hurt.
お姉さん、それはちょっとひどくない？俺そこまでひどい顔はしてないと思うんだけど。
No, it's just...
あ、わかった。もしかして例の神話の話が気になってたの？
You can laugh if you want.
え、なんで？何もおかしくないでしょ。
Marius stops and flicks your forehead with his finger.
これは俺を信じないお姉さんへの罰ね。大丈夫、安心しなよ。俺がいる限り、絶対にあんたを見失ったりしないから。それに、もし神話みたいなことがあっても、俺が必ず見つけ出すよ。で、それまでは、俺も地獄に一緒にいてあげるよ。どう？これなら寂しくないでしょ。
Don't jinx it. You subconsciously look away as the deep uneasiness in your heart fades with this promise. At that moment, it seems like you won't be scared no matter where you go, as long as you're with him. Following the fireflies, you and Marius soon exit the cave and came across a vast open area. A beam of light falls directly above the cave, cutting through the darkness and shining softly onto the altar. The ruins now stand before you, covered in the dust of thousands of years and transcending the shackles of time. Marius quietly stares at the stone tablet, standing in the center of the altar. It's as if he was reading the unchanged prayer inscribed deeply into the rock from a long time ago.
モブが言ってた神おろしの遺跡って、ここのことかもしれないな。
Some type of prayer is inscribed on the stone tablet, right? It's a shame we can't read it. We don't know what kind of ritual it was being held here.
わからなくてもいいさ。こういう祭祀の儀式ってのは大体何かしらの信仰と絡んでる。昔の人々は今よりもずっと信心深かったんだ。経験に祈り続ければいつか神に願いが届くと信じていた。
Wishes? Marius, do you have any wishes? Marius looks at you with a smile while holding your hand even tighter.
俺？あるとも。こう見えて結構欲深い人間だからね。それこそ願いなんて星の数ほどあるよ。
My God.
さらに言うと、その大半は自力で叶えられると思ってる。思うようにいかない願いは、今のところ一つだけかな。もちろん最大限の努力はしていくつもりだけど、可能なら神の祝福も授かっておきたい。そのくらい願ってる。
His eyes fall upon you with an unspeakable enthusiasm and no intention of moving away. The melodious sound of the breeze forms into an ancient verse, as if it were prayer. As if it were that prayer that had been performed at the ritual thousands of years ago. Marius' voice is sacred and solemn, fitting right into it.
俺の願いは愛する人と生涯添い遂げることだ。
As soon as he said that, the surrounding fireflies scattered together in the direction of the light, as if directed by something. Maybe Marius' wish will truly be heard by the gods. Thinking this, you can't help but put your hands together, silently making your own wish. Afterwards, you and Marius find your way back to the surface through the exit behind the altar. Marius only completely returns to normal when he leaves the cave. His tightly furrowed brows finally relax. But after finding John's buried gift and returning to the cave entrance, He noticed something strange. Eh? I left a message at the cave entrance. But looking around now, you can only see the endless mountain forest. The message is still there, but nothing is blocking your path anymore. Did I remember wrongly? Before you spiral into self-doubt, Marius suddenly laughs.
そう深刻そうな顔しないで。この世にはいくら考えてもわからないことって意外と結構あるもんだよ。それにこれでちょうど伝説の遺跡が本当に存在してるって証明されたしね。
As he looks at you, you can see the happiness in his eyes, with a hint of anticipation.
だから俺たちの願いもきっと神に届いたと思う。
All right. Oh, there's more. After the treasure hunt on Nosta ended, you and Marius returned to your normal lives in Stelis. The only difference might just be...
こんばんは、パックス宅配便です。お荷物をお届けに参りました。
Delivery?
はは、バレた？実はあんたの大好きな店のケーキが手に入ってさ、よかったらもらってくれないかなって。
What? How did you know?
あんたが SNS に写真を上げたのを見たんだ。ちょうど会議が終わって帰るとこだったし、ついでに買ってきちゃった。
How nice of him. It's not along the way. I remember the shop is far from PAX headquarters. You don't have to go through the trouble of doing so next time.
別にいいよそれくらい。負担になんて全然思ってないし。それに。
Through the phone, you can hear Marius's light and gleeful laughter.
あくまでただの口実だから。
Excuse?
そう。今日はもう遅いから上には行けないでしょ。だから下まで取りに来てほしいなって。また支度させちゃうのは悪いけど、今すごくあんたに会いたくてさ。それに少しだけ話もしたいし。ダメかな。
While waiting for her, Marius receives a sudden message on his phone. And the message was a translation of the prayer that had been inscribed on the stone tablet.
思った通り、やっぱ特別な儀式だったんだな。
According to the records, the inscriptions on the stone tablet is a romantic oath. People believed that the blue fireflies were the incarnation of a god, which only appeared if one was sincere enough. And that altar was the place where two people would complete the ritual to convey their sincerity and receive the blessing of the gods.
神の祝福か。まあ悪くはないかな。
Marius looks up at the sky. Under the light of the stars, the dark and boundless night sky no longer seems so lonely. And those uncomfortable memories he didn't want to recall will become precious memories because of her.
俺はあんたのすべての願いを叶え、すべての期待に応える。決して手放さないように。俺は最善を尽くす。だから、どうか、これからもずっと俺を照らし続ける存在として、そばにいてほしい。
Oh, what a sweet story. Oh, okay, I'm gonna accept this.
調子どう？お、調べ物？しかも虫の図鑑？一体どうしたの？確かに珍しい色してたよな、あのホタル。俺もあんな青色のホタルビを見たのは初めてだったよ。そうだ、お姉さんはさ、あの時ホタルが集まってた理由知ってる？
I wanna know.
実はね、あれは求婚してるんだよ。驚いた？からかってないよ。お尻の点滅は求愛行動で光り方もそれぞれ違うんだ。こんなところで嘘なんてつかないよ。でも成虫になったホタルはせいぜい2週間くらいしか生きられない。たとえ相手を見つけられてもすぐ別れが来るんだ。ロマンチック？そうだね。ホタルは その生涯を賭してでも愛すべき伴侶を探してる。え、落ち込んではないよ。ただちょっとだけね、もし俺だったらさ、納得できないんだろうなって。せっかく愛すべき相手を見つけたんだよ。失うには早すぎる。もっと一緒にいるべきだ。急に黙ってどうしたの？ってまさか俺以外のこと考えてる？やっぱ答えなくていいよ。まさか答えを聞くのが怖い？俺に限ってそれはないね。そこで笑うの？ちょっとお姉さん、なんか俺の扱いひどいよ。はあ、これはなかなか前途多難だね。まあいいよ。時間ならまだまだあるからね。ちょっと待ってて。必ず振り向かせてみせるから。
Sure. Okay. That's a really nice story, I think. That was a really good one.